Hi, my name is Mr. Tony and I wrote a book named Abundomy. The book is about creating a fair financial system. Every morning, 5 times per week, I will record a video of about 10 minutes long where I go over one of the subjects from the book and post it on the Abundomy social media. My goal is to make 2 billion people know about my book in the next 5 years. That is a lot, but it's necessary so that enough people understand why and how to transition to a free world with a fair financial system. So the book begins with Ibrahim Traoré. He's the president of Burkina Faso at the moment, and on the 19th of May 25, he addressed the IMF and criticized their loans. Basically, he says that the loans of the IMF are strangulating the African countries. Now, Ibrahim Traoré thinks that the people in the West, in Europe and the United States are benefiting from these loans, and that it's their companies that take away all the natural resources. Now, I think that he's wrong there, because what he doesn't know is that the people from the West doesn't benefit at all. The only thing they benefit from is that we have phones, but the same phones are also sold in Africa. So that is not really where we benefit from. The only people that really benefit from these loans are the hidden owners of the central banks. What people don't understand is that central banks are not owned by the governments, nowhere. All the central banks are owned by a couple of families, and I don't go into it whose families these are, because a lot of conspiracies about it and you don't really know. But what we do know is that the central banks are not owned by the people. They are owned by a certain group of families. And the wealth that they extract with their loans goes to them and not to nobody else. They also own all the shares of the big companies. So the profit that is being made also goes to these families. And basically these families are not interested in the profits at all. They just want control. They want to own everything. Because when they own everything, that's when they can control the people, by paying the police, paying the military, etc. So that's why there is always money for wars and misery and hunger, just to keep the people down. The people need to be divided and fighting each other instead of looking up and see who is really benefiting from this all. So that's where Ibrahim Traoré was wrong, in my opinion. You can see this when you look at the independence of African countries and the central banks that were created. It's sort of a coincidence, if you believe that within 2 years before or after an African country became independent, also a central bank was installed. So, and this happened for every African country. I always go to people, sometimes I go to people in Nigeria and ask them, do you know who fought the independence war? How many people got killed? And they don't know. There was not a real war. And basically that is the same situation for every other African countries. There were some wars, but these wars were among each other, like civil wars, but not against the colonizers. That never happened. So why did all these colonizers just leave in the 60s? It was in a period of like 10 years from total colonization to, just we leave and let the people here be independent and have their own democracy. It's fine. We're not going to fight it. We're not going to bother about losing all these natural resources. Really? If you believe that? No, it didn't happen at all. So what happened is that, and the owners of banks and central banks already alluded to that, when you own when you are in the position to issue a country's money, then you don't care about who is writing the laws and who is in charge of the country, because you can control them. And basically that's what happened. So the colonizer didn't leave, they just stayed here because the people that financed and make profit from the colonizers now own the central banks and therefore also own all the politicians and can do exactly what they want. They can bring in the companies and take away all the wealth and natural resources. So that is what's happening and nothing else. It's not the American people, it's not the European people. They have troubles of their own, and believe me, the troubles are quite big. So what we cannot do, and that's because of the system that they implemented, is to check if the money that they create is created fairly. So when money is created, who owns this money first? Now that you are not allowed to know. So there's no way for people like me and you to look and to see and to investigate if money is created fairly. There's simply no way. For example, it's not allowed for the American government to audit the Federal Reserve. And that's just crazy. So these people can't just print money, and the people of the United States, even the president, is not allowed to step a foot inside the Federal Reserve and see if the money is not created out of thin air, and who benefits from it, and where the profits are going, and all these things. Now, as long as this is the case, then you can assume that money is not created fairly. And that's also why money for wars and surveillance and police and military is always present, because the people that are in the army are not there to defend you. It's about killing other young people on the one side, and on the other side protecting the 1% of the 1%, so that nobody knows what's going on and how they steal all your wealth. So that is basically what is going on. And so either we get full transparency of what the beneficial owners of these central banks are, and if we don't, then we can just assume that the system is not fair, and that we need to build a better one. And a better one is when people are all participating equally in the creation of money, which means that we don't allow anymore that a very tiny group of people can just press a button and create money out of thin air. But each time money is created, the first thing that needs to be done is that the new money needs to be distributed fairly among everybody in the world, because that is fair. And in the human rights, we tell people that everybody is equal. So if everybody is equal, then everybody would have the right to participate in the creation of money. And that is where my book is all about. You can read it, and then you can see for yourself. There are a lot of links in there that bring you to books and presentations where this is all explained. Thank you again for watching this episode. I hope you can press the like button. Please stay tuned, because there is much more to come, and therefore it is essential that you subscribe to the channel now, if you haven't already, and press the notification button. But remember, it is extremely important that you keep sharing these series over and over again to everyone you know, because only when we are with billions of people, we can defeat the parasite.